Lily, Madwhip, Must Die, Chapter 10, How to Build a Better Mousetrap. How many doors do you suppose there are in the world? Probably like a million. You can't count just any opening in a wall as a door. Windows aren't doors. Doors are very specific, I think. They must be able to shut. They don't necessarily need a lock or even a knob, but they have to open and close, and you can walk through them. Abaddon and I pass one door that's shaped very circularly. It's got a big metal ring hanging from it. I imagine pulling the ring and having the door just tip forward and crush me. Splat! I start to reach for it, just curious. You know, the thing that killed the cat. I'm not sure what cat, but curiosity killed it. Some famous cat. Probably Garfield. Then they made a comic strip about him in his honor. The fat orange tabby that got squished by a heavy circular door because he got too curious about it. Don't touch that door, Abaddon says, without looking back. How'd you know? He doesn't slow down. He's carrying Nate's body, and there's blood just running down off him with each step. I am one with the ground, he says. I can sense you even when I can't see you. Now hurry up. Dead Nate's arm flops down to the side. It leaves a drip-drop trail that looks black in the light of the hall torches. I watch it as I follow. It's like a gross version of Hansel and Gretel, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to get home. I hope they don't have a janitor here, in the Vale, who'll come by and mop up, just in case I have to find my way back by myself. I don't think they would do that to me. I can't exactly run to keep up with Abaddon because I've got this styrofoam coffee cup that was lying on the sidewalk back where we came from. It's full of Nate's blood. I know that's kind of morbid, but I think he's not exactly using it at this point, and maybe I can use it to stop Samael. Speaking of Nate, is he like dead? I ask. I try to ask it gently, because it sure seems like something neither Abaddon nor Pashar is taking too well. Honestly, I didn't think angels could die. Do they have souls? How can they be in my meatball 1 second and then walking around in a me suit the next? The whole angelic presence thing seems to play pretty loose with reality, and every time they do something new, it just leaves me with more questions. Abaddon finally stops. He turns around. Nate's two upper halves lay split open in his two right arms, half in the upper right arm and half in the lower right arm. I can see inside him. I don't want to suggest that I know what the inside of a human being looks like if you tore them in half, but if I imagined it in my meatball, this is what it would look like to me. No, he's not dead, Abaddon says sourly, looking down at the body. This corporeal shell is just like yours. It simply houses his conscience. I look away. I don't got the stomach to keep seeing the red stuff inside people, or the bony bits that jut out around things that move more squishy like. If he's not dead, it's going to be okay, right? I can smell the blood in the coffee cup. You just pop him out of there and give him a new meat suit to wear. The ground starts rumbling under our feet. Suddenly, the wall to our right, which Abaddon had been facing, splits apart kind of like Nate's upper half. Oh, gross. Why did I go back to that thought? Anyway, the wall splits apart and forms a new hallway. There are no doors or torches down it. It just leads into darkness. Abaddon starts walking into it. I follow him, grabbing onto a piece of his clothes with my free hand when I can't see no more. We aren't like you. I can hear him even though I can't see him. When your body expires, we have the means to cleanse your conscience. The two-way stations of the Vale. One is the pit. Samael and I made that together. We filled it with his creations and then trained them on how to wipe clean your evil thoughts, the scars of anger and sin. Then there's the fields, built by Duma and Raphael. That is where they cleanse the wounded, the people with emotional scars and traumas. The victims, I don't know what to say, so I just say, cool. It seems inadequate. He continues, we cannot be wiped like a chalkboard. Every sin and every injury remains carved into us. This is why we remain neutral, working from behind the curtain. Nate will live, but the trauma of this moment will be forever written on him. It will affect him. It could twist his decisions. Will he suddenly feel a hint of fear where once he was fearless? I do not know. This tragedy could endanger us all. I stumble over nothing in the pitch black and feel wetness on my hand with the cup in it. Great. I probably spilled some on myself. You're not telling me everything, are you? I ask Abaddon, and most of what you said flew right over my head anyway. I don't know why you all work behind curtains or what you mean by Corporal Shell. That's like a military rank, isn't it? Was Nate a corporal in your angel army? There comes another rumbling, and suddenly a crack of light appears in front of us. It widens and turns into a big archway into what looks like a hospital hallway. The walls are bright, white, tiled, and lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. Dozens of people in clean blue scrubs are hurrying around, all rambling nonsense, though sometimes I catch the word stat thrown in. Everyone's got long rubber gloves on their hands, and they're holding them up like they're carrying invisible logs in their arms. Where are we? I ask. I look down at where I'm holding onto Abaddon's overcoat and realize I'm holding some flappy bit of Nate's coat that was trailing out behind him. I let go of it like it burned me. Abaddon steps in front of one of the busy doctor people and stops her in her tracks. She looks like a normal person, just a lady with blonde hair and a rather empty look on her face. This individual needs to be stitched back together, Stat, Abaddon says in a commanding voice. The lady doctor looks absolutely astounded by this short, squat, four-armed guy and the split-in-half body he's holding out to her. Is she a worker in the veil? She looks way too confused and frightened. Have we stepped into someone's dream? Holy shit, she says, staring at Nate's body. I think I'm going to be sick. She turns away and makes a sound into her face mask like she's having the dry heaves. Limply, she gestures with one hand toward the other side of the hall where one of those scooty hospital bed things is. Abaddon gently lays Nate's floppy body on the bed. His front is totally soaked with blood from carrying it. He seems unfazed by this, just sort of casually wiping his hands off on himself. The lady doctor flags down a person with no face wearing the same scrubs and everything as her. Get this man to operating room 267 immediately. The no-face person mumbles something incoherent that makes the lady doctor nod and go, yes, bring them both. And then it reaches out with arms that just sort of trail off into nothing at the hands area and starts pushing the wheelie bed thing down the hallway. Bye, Nate, I say quietly. So much paperwork to get done, Lady Doctor says, and starts walking in a small circle as the hallway magically widens to accommodate her. There's a sound with it that reminds me of when someone stretches a rubber band a bit too far. Have you ever stretched a rubber band really, really far, and then it slipped and snapped back and hit you in the fingers? That really stings. Rubber bands should come with warnings printed on them not to do that. Kind of like they put on toasters not to stick forks in them, or the most yuck stickers parents put on bottles of bleach to teach babies not to drink it. Abaddon grabs Lady Doctor by the shoulders. Focus. Stitch my brother quickly. I believe in you. He drops his hands, but two big, bloody handprints remain on her shoulders. She stares at me for a second. I give her a friendly wave. Then she turns and walks down the hall after No Face and Nate. The hallway shrinks behind her. The hallway lights around us dim and then turn off, leaving us back in the total darkness. Spooky, I say to the darkness. Nothing is said back. I wait a second. Still nothing. We really need to get going, I tell Abaddon. I assume he's still here, even though I can't see him. P-O-O. That's the sound of a lightning bolt striking right next to me. Only it isn't a lightning bolt. It's apparently Abaddon clapping his upper pair of hands together. I only know this because as soon as I hear it, startling the heck out of me, his hands start giving off this light like they're made of whatever's inside a light bulb. Some gas. One of the noble ones. It doesn't matter. His hands light up like two light bulbs. The hospital hallway is just a blank white box now. It's just big enough to fit both of us standing next to each other. There's absolutely nothing here. All right, Abaddon says, clenching his light up fists. Tell me what you need. I need to get to the carnival before Samael, and I need a better container for this blood because I think it's eating through the styrofoam of this cup. I can see Abaddon's jaw clench up when he looks at the cup of Nate's blood. Nothing from the veil can carry that into the waking world, he tells me. Objects created here will dissipate when they cross the threshold. What we can do is go through one of the doors and find a better container, but we need to be quick and logical about it. He waves one of his lower hands, and the ground rumbles again as the tiny square we're standing in starts to stretch out in one direction into a long, dark, featureless hallway. Follow me. He walks off, quickly leaving me in the dark. I trot after him, barely keeping up with the light from his hands. Wait up, I got little legs! It takes several minutes, but eventually we reach that cool hallway of doors again. It's lit by torches that never seem to go out. So Abaddon shakes his upper hands and they make a sizzling sound and go dark. Down one direction is a big intersection with another hallway of doors. Down the other direction, it just goes on and actually makes me kind of dizzy looking at it. So many flickering torches just going off into eternity. Pick a door, Abaddon says gruffly. I look around, favoring the direction toward the intersection, because the other direction makes me feel like I'm gonna barf. Most of the doors look really plain. No special knobs or fancy knockers or stained glass windows, just plain wooden doors. Where do they lead? What if I walk in on someone on the toilet, or worse? Do you know where any of these go? I ask, looking at one that's got red paint and a glass knob shaped like some sort of gemstone. It stands out, but maybe going through one that stands out is the worst idea, because everybody else in the world will be going through that door, since it's so red and fancy looking. Abaddon looks at the red door as well. I didn't design this. The only people who have it all memorized are Samael and Raziel, neither of whom are accessible at this time. His jaw clenches up again, and I hear his fists squeezing tighter at the mention of Samael. Or maybe at the mention of Raziel. Maybe both. Who knows? I guess Abaddon knows. He looks at me, wiping at his eyes with one of his upper fists. Just pick one. We don't have time for this. Fine. I walk over to the ordinary-looking door across from the fancy red door. This one, I say, pointing at it. Abaddon brushes past me, grasps the knob, looks once at me for confirmation, to which I give him a confident nod, though I am the total opposite of confident, which if I understand words right, would be profident? Whatever. He starts to turn the knob, then stops, and pulls his lower arms into his big overcoat before opening the door and walking through. I follow him. We're in a kitchen. There's an oven and a refrigerator and a small table with a couple placemats on it, and salt and pepper shakers, as well as a couple bottles of sauce of some sort with labels I can't read. Oh, this is perfect, I say, and run over to one of the cabinets to see if it's got some big coffee mugs or a pitcher I can put Nate's blood in. Luck is clearly with me because sure enough, there's a small porcelain pitcher thingy shaped like a cow with a handle and a hole in its back that I can pour the blood into. Suddenly, someone behind us says loudly, "Canaries too?" I almost dropped the cow pitcher thing in surprise, but managed to hook my finger in the handle of it and keep it from falling to the floor. Oh my goodness! I nearly squeezed the styrofoam cup of blood in a panic, which would crush it for sure and get blood all over the place. To avoid crushing it, I start to loosen my grip on it. But then I feel it slip from my hand, and I quickly get my shit together and hold it tight, but not too tight. My heart is racing like I just ran a block, though. There's a man standing in an archway to the next room. He's got a scraggly black beard, small glasses, in a blue shirt with the word Vamos on it in yellow. He's holding a cigarette in one hand and a tire iron in the other. He does not look happy at all. Chaos and Mikosina, he shouts. I don't know if I'm even spelling the words from his mouth right. Abaddon holds up his hands. For a moment, I think he's going to make a big spike jut out of the floor and stab the guy, like I've seen him do in the past. He doesn't, thankfully. He just makes that little hand wave gesture that people do when they're trying to calm someone down. No tallas usted, amigo, I think he says. I know the word amigo from that Speedy Gonzales mouse on Looney Tunes. That means friend. So it looks like I don't have to worry about him murdering someone right in front of me. They start talking, one very loudly and angrily, the other calmly and patiently. But I'm not going to write any more of the stuff they say because it's all in Spanish, I guess. While they're talking, though, I pour Nate's blood out of the styrofoam cup and into the cow pitcher. There's a trash can nearby, one of those ones with the flip-top lid, and I crumple up the cup and toss it in. Then I turn to Abaddon and the angry man, who is now waving his tire iron in a threatening manner. Hey, I say. Neither of them stops talking. Hey, that got their attention. Abaddon turns away from the man to look at me. The man glares at him for a second, and then at me. He seems more confused by my presence than angry, I think. If it had been just me in his kitchen, he might have been more friendly. Look, I tell him, hoping he understands. I'm sorry for intruding. I'm sorry for intruding. I just need to borrow your cow pitcher. I hold the pitcher up to him so he can see. Isocrima, he replies. Yes, this, cray thingy. I'm gonna take, it, okay? For blood, you know. Blood. Don't slosh it, Lily. Don't slosh it. You know you want to, but you mustn't slosh the blood. Good job. Good job, Lily. You didn't slosh the cow thingy with the blood in it while holding it up for this guy to see. Bravo. I feel bad for just walking into this guy's house and taking his cow pitcher, but maybe I can return it later. Que error de mi madre, he shouts, raising his weapon over his head and lunging past Abaddon, who is taken by surprise. I know that last word, madre. That means mother. Oh no, am I borrowing his mother's cow pitcher? No wonder he's so mad. Abaddon manages to grab the guy around the waist with his secret lower left arm, and before I can say not to, he gives him a solid fist in the back of the head with the upper right one. In the movies, this would certainly knock the guy out, but we're in real life, and all it does is piss him off. Thankfully, he hasn't noticed yet that the guy he starts turning to fight has 4 arms. Lily, go, Abaddon calls as he catches a swing of the tire iron meant for his head, and then swats the whole thing across the room with a crash as it breaks some jars with flour and sugar and stuff in them. I run back to the door, which I guess belongs to a pantry or laundry room or something normally. I'm sorry, I yell to the poor man who is now getting his arms pinned to his sides by an angel who could probably make his head explode if he wanted to. I'll bring it back. I swear, and I'll rinse it out first. Maybe running wasn't the best choice here. I know what you're thinking. Oh no, Lily trips and spills the blood. But no, that's not what happens. Instead, I collide with someone standing on the other side of the door, and the cow pitcher gets squished safely between us. However, some of Nate's blood does escape. Not all of it, thankfully. Just a splotch, as I can see on the black robe of the person I ran into. Lily, Duma says with a hint of annoyance in his voice. Oh, crud, I squeak. Duma glances at the wet splotch on his reaper robes. Indeed. Crud. Behind me, there's a loud crash, like an angry man who just caught intruders in his kitchen taking his mother's favorite cow pitcher without permission being thrown through a table or something splintery like another door. It's followed by shouts from other individuals, and then a calm, "Excuse me," from Abaddon as he squeezes past me into the hallway, shutting the door behind him. Abaddon, Duma says in his normal monotone voice. I have a message from Zadkiel. Abaddon stiffens. His whole attitude suddenly changes from a smug, confident bulldog to an expressionless statue. There's a moment where, if the lighting were better, I'd swear I even see him sweat one drop. One teeny tiny, glistening drop of angel sweat on his brow. I don't know who Zadkiel is, but he apparently demands Abaddon's respect and attention when his name is announced. Duma continues, putting a bony finger to his skull as he recites the message, verbatim, I'm sure. Abaddon exterminans, brother who lords over the pit, king of locusts, thy presence is requested in the chamber of absolution. Stamis contra malum. We stand against evil. There's a quiet moment where nobody says anything, but that's interrupted by me having a quick sneeze because Duma's Reaper robes are as dusty as my Nan's prom dress, which she saved in a plastic zipper bag in the back of her closet for half a century. Stamus contra malum, Abaddon says, then doesn't even say goodbye or look at me. He just turns and walks away down the long, dizzying corridor like one of those speed walker people you see at 5 a.m. on a Saturday. I only know this because my dad liked to drive cross country when we'd go to visit family, and he started the trip always at night. So we got there at like 8 in the morning, and since there's no official bedtime, I was usually awake in the back seat and would watch the speedwalkers and the grouchos with their cups of coffee and newspapers sitting at bus stops. And you, Duma turns to look at me, his voice returning to the annoyed, toned one. Come with me. He starts walking in the opposite direction of Abaddon toward the intersection. I hold up the borrowed cow pitcher to show him Nate's blood. I have to get to the carnival with this borrowed cow pitcher of angel blood. Another thing I never thought I'd be saying, but here we are. He doesn't pause. Yes, I know. Pashkar sent word of Nathaniel's ruination and your little plan to stop Samiel. I had actually sent Baratiel to purchase a suitable vessel for you to carry our brother's ichor in, but I see that you have stolen one instead. I'm just borrowing it, I tell him. I feel kind of offended for being called a thief. Then again, most people I know think I killed my entire family, my best friend, some other random people, a dog, and even my foster family. So thief's not the worst thing I've been called. We turn a couple more corners in the corridor of doors. More doors surround us. That one has some fancy gold trim on it. This other one has an arched top and a pretty little circular window at the top. Hundreds of the doors have peepholes in them, which I assume indicates they belong to hotels or apartments. Why isn't a corridor of doors called a door rider? I ponder aloud. Or a door-a-core. Please be quiet. Where are we going? One more corner, and the expanse of doors has vanished. We're walking into Hecate's central throne room chamber. It looks just like it did the last time I was here, except there isn't a large crowd of angry people cheering for my death, and it looks like someone patched up the massive crack I made by splitting the room in half with my mind. They clearly couldn't just put the two halves back together, so they glued in a big section that kind of blends with the rest, but you can spot the seam. Dumas walks up to the throne where there's a big sack on the floor. I had Baratiel locate the fairgrounds where your nemesis, Felix Clay, is hiding. How did he do that? I thought Felix's runes kept him hidden from angel scrying. Like you can't even see it's there. Exactly, comes a voice from behind me. I turn just as Baratiel walks in carrying a big scythe across his shoulders and a small metal pail in his hand. The scythe's blade looks like something a caveman blacksmith would hammer out with a rock, but the pointy tip of it looks meaner than hell. And I've seen hell. Baratiel smiles at me as he walks by, glancing down at my cow pitcher, then giving a shrug. I simply looked for the absence of anything, a place within local distance of your home where things seem to cease to exist. Small things, bugs actually. The world is teeming with life, and all I had to do was look for where there suddenly wasn't any. He lifts the scythe off his shoulders and hands it to Duma, who grips it in one hand while leaning over the sack and rummaging through the contents with the other. Will that be all? Baradio asks. Yes, thank you, brother, Dumas says in a surprisingly gentle voice. You will, of course, be in charge while I'm away. I don't imagine it will be long, but we both know how oddly fluid the transition of time can feel here. Try not to panic, Baradio puts his empty fist to his mouth and chuckles into it like he's saving it for later. Then he turns and walks back out into the door rider with the metal pail. Wait, I realize I'm just standing here with my cow pitcher of angel blood, and time is weird here. So we need to get moving, I think, or we'll get to Earth and everybody will just be dead or worse. Where are you going? You're not coming with me, are you? Dumas sets the scythe down to lean against the throne and uses both hands to pull what looks like a Halloween costume out of the sack. I realize after he flaps it out with his arms that it's human skin, face, lips, hair, and all. He turns away and starts sticking a bony leg down into the opening in the back. Of course I'm going with you, you petulant chit. Someone has to guard you. You're planning to face Samael the Demiurge with nothing but a cow creamer of angel blood and your fingers crossed. He wiggles his bony butt as he shimmies into the gross costume, then stops for a moment and sighs. This is my life now, struggling into a skin suit so I can babysit someone. Elsa's ward. He turns to look at me, his empty eye sockets creaking into a frowny shape. You know, I rather enjoyed working with my totem bearer, Samantha Flores, before you jackanapes turned her into cinder. Yeah, this is going to be fun. That's sarcasm, by the way. He finally gets the skin fully on and pulled back over his skull, then plucks a couple fake eyes out of the sack and jams them in his eye sockets. He still looks creepy as hell with some spots where the skin suit isn't on totally right, and the whole robe and scythe outfit just screams, "Look at me!" But what do I know? I'm just a kid, and adults are weird as shit sometimes. All right, Duma says, tugging on his right ear to try to adjust the face. Let's go to the fair.